Dr. Joan Coleman, and the Xchange is exciting.
I'm Denise Cavalier. The Xchange is real.
I'm Carolyn Poiker. The Xchange is empowering.
I'm Donna Hutchinson. The Xchange is thought-provoking.
The Xchange, a Let Me Be Me podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Xchange. I am Dr. Joan Coleman, and today's topic is light, love, and fathers. But before we get into it, let's introduce the crew and our very special guest today. Donna
Hutchinson.
Carter Patterson.
Carolyn Poiker.
Denise Cavalier.
All right, the gang's all here today, and today's special guest, Carter Patterson. He's the Vice President of the Father Center in Trenton, New Jersey, Vice President of Programs, okay? And the Father Center empowers fathers to positively impact his children and family socially, emotionally, and economically, among other things. Carter, tell us about yourself. Tell us a little bit about the Father Center.
Okay, I always start off like this. I'm a proud dad. I'm a proud dad of 4 very beautiful children, 2 boys and 2 girls. My oldest is an engineer in the Air Force, Major of R.I. Patterson. My other son, Noah, you have a little help with him. It's okay. You know, he smokes a little bit too much, but it's okay, right? My daughter just got a real job. She graduated from college last year. She graduated from Rider University last year. She just got a real job at Mercer County Community College, so we're so happy about that. And my little one, my little apple, her name is Amara, and she's at Princeton Day School. So again, we're very proud father, 2 boys and 2 girls, and that leads me into the Father Center because I do not believe that I'm there by accident. I was there by some sort of calling, if you will. Like, I grew up not knowing my father at all. It was just me, my mother, my sister, and I. And it's just so very, very interesting. I remember we used to live in a high-rise building, right? And every dude that got on the elevator, if I liked the way he looked, he would be a little piece of what my dad was, right? And so by the time I was 15 or 16 years old, I had this Frankenstein version of what my dad would actually be like, right? So as I started to grow and mature as an adult, and when I started having children, I know I did not want my children to kind of go through the same things that I had to go through. And so here I am at the Father Center. I've been there for 10 years next year. Wow. Yeah, but the Father Center itself has been doing Father Center specific work for 30 plus years. The organization, UIH Family Partners, which was its former name before the Father Center of New Jersey, we changed it in June of 2020, a few years ago. We were 170 years old.
Wow.
One of the oldest nonprofits in the state of New Jersey. Right. So we look good, right?
Fabulous.
Yes. For 170, right? But yeah, so the work is absolutely important, and I know when we first started the work, I wasn't there 30 years ago. It was brand new. People didn't understand the why, right? Now we're beginning to understand the why. Like why we need support specifically for fathers. Just in any social work program at any university you go, to be a social worker, you have to learn about senior citizens. You have to learn about women, children, and family. There should also be a very specific way and approach on how to deal and counsel with men and fathers. And so that is one of the reasons why I believe that we exist.
That is so great, so awesome. And I was thinking about what you said. We are talking about light and love today, but within light there is some darkness. And that dark part for you is seeing somebody in the elevator and saying, oh, I'm taking a little piece of that, I'm going to take a little piece of that. So light by nature is exposed darkness. How does one know if or when they're lost, headed for trouble, headed for that dark part of their life when their dad is not in a part of their lives? Can you answer that?
Yes. So, the one thing that I can say is that, I've never met a man who did not love his children. And I know that there's a narrative out there of the deadbeat dad. And there's absolutely men who do not take care of their children. But that's the exception and not the rule, right? I've dealt with over 10,000 men over the past 10 years, and maybe even more, right? I have not met one deadbeat father. have not met one man who did not love his children in an honest way and wanted to sincerely connect with them. So when it does get dark, you have to find someone who is a father figure, right? So it could be a brother. It could be the person that you see at the store that you have a very beautiful exchange with. You just say hello in the morning, or that person might give you a cup of coffee. I don't know, but it's human connection and relationships that kind of shed light on that darkness of the father not being there. So there's other men in their life, again, an older brother, an older sibling, a cousin, someone at the store, right? Because the most important thing is that you have some sort of male presence in your life so that you can kind of feed off of that specific energy, because there's a specific energy that men bring to parenting that moms do not, right? And it's unique. It's no better. It's not. It's just. It's just different, right? It's just a different kind of energy. Yeah.
And before the ladies ask you some questions that they may have on their mind, I just want to ask you what are some of the challenges fathers face when it comes to fully engaging with their children? Because I know some of the programs you have probably teaches them how to engage, you know, how to not beat themselves up for not being there, not being what they think they should be as a father when it comes to being a father. So what are some of the challenges that they face, and how does the Father Center help them to deal with those challenges?
So specifically the Father Center, and I always like to say this, we wrap a warm blanket around the men we support, right? And I know my coworkers, if they hear this, they're gonna be like, ah! But it's important, right? Because when you have the feeling of warmth and security, and this professional has wrapped a warm blanket around you, you feel supported, you feel acknowledged, and you feel heard, right? That's what happens. I think with men, one of the things that we have to fight against is that a lot of times men, they feel like they are only seen as a provision. Right?
Yes.
I can only provide, right? And so because I can only provide, sometimes I don't feel fully respected as a person, because you only are looking at me for what I can provide to you and the resources that are connected to me. I have feelings too, right? I cry, right? I do cry. I cry every day, right? But again, you have to be connected with your feelings, right? And you have to say, hey, I'm a full human being with thoughts, emotions, and feelings. Yes, I provide and I'm daddy, but then there's also this whole wonderful side of my humanity that I want to be acknowledged.
Yeah. Sounds good. Any questions, ladies?
I just wanted to speak on the fact that I'm so impressed with this, because I am such a big proponent of, I think women have a lot bigger of an avenue to look into self-care and mental health. I think men are completely overlooked in that field, and even like for my husband, he's very quiet and reserved. That does not mean he doesn't have feelings and vulnerabilities that he needs to be supported with. So I think what you're doing is absolutely incredible for what you're bringing to the world, honestly. And your enthusiasm is amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's not fake, it's for real.
Yeah, I can tell, yes.
It's so funny that you said what you said, because I have it written here. We don't think of men as having self-care days. We don't think of them having mental health days. We think of them as provider. You go to work. If you're not working, you're lazy, you're a bum, you're worthless. And that's just how a lot of women think. I have to say, so don't at me. But it's true. That's how people think when the men aren't working. And so it's so funny you brought that up, because I wanted to get into it. Why is the Father Center, why is that space so important for these men?
Well, because it provides sanctuary in a place where it's just crazy and chaotic, right? Sanctuary in a place where you can be emotionally safe, you can be physically safe, and then mentally safe too, because when you walk into the Father Center, like the messaging and the things that you see on the wall is very intentional to create this safe space specifically for men, right? And so I would call it sanctuary, you know what I mean? So a place that men can come and share those really difficult thoughts and ideas that they cannot share anywhere else, right? Then we have staff members there whom when the gentlemen do come in, they can actually connect with them, right? I always reference my senior staff member. His name's Bill, and he's 70 plus. But let me tell you, there's something to say about having an elder amongst our staff, right? Because and again, the staff is going to kill me when I say this. It is the intergenerational transmission of wisdom, because we need the older men to pour into the younger men, and then the younger men to pour even to the babies and the children, right? So that's important. So we provide sanctuary.
Awesome.
What is the biggest challenge in getting them in the door?
I was just about to say something like that.
Well, let me say that men are notorious, right? We have to plan, and we also have to put it in front of their faces, on their phones, on their email, at least more so than any other thing that we do, right? In order to populate the program, to get guys in there, it is constant. It's like over communication. So it's like email, text, phone call, in that order, you know. And so yes, it's really, really difficult to get a large group of men together because of the stuff, right? The provisions. Like, I have 2 jobs, I have 3 jobs, right? Or I have a restraining order and I can't, you know. So there's a whole many different layers and reasons why men don't fully engage and connect with organizations like ours, right? But we figured out a way to do it.
That's awesome.
Let me ask the ladies this. Ladies, we're going to go to age now. Do you think the age of a young man being a father impacts their reality, their reaction to being a father? And an example is, I knew of a 25-year-old male who became a father at the age of 25, and he took off toward the hills. He was like, nope, don't want any parts of it. So do you think with the aspect of that, does age impact how guys see fatherhood?
I think that's one component of it. I think his experiences in life, you know, whether his father was present, right, Carter, will really affect what he has to give. And sometimes an absent father can propel a young man to be the best father ever, because he's really focused on that. So I've seen that happen too. So I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. Personality. So a 25-year-old young man can be an excellent father, and, you know, some 25-year-olds might struggle.
Yeah.
I always think it's maybe about maturity, and the support they feel around them is maybe more important than age. But I do happen to know some fathers who were fathers very young and did a great job. So that's probably why I say that. And I think older fathers, maybe they just have the benefit of a lot of experience, and I don't know, that's probably maybe a little bit easier, but they have a little less energy. So
does the Father Center offers condoms and sexual education classes for these young people, even for the older people?
So we do offer education around that through our mental health groups. So we entered into a partnership with an organization that provides free mental health services for us. So they do group work with our men, and then they also do individual one-on-one. But the dudes that want to do the individual one-on-one work, they have to like self-disclose and say, hey, I want this. And you can imagine how difficult it can be for just men to be able to kind of share some of their deep emotions, to say, hey, I really do need some help. You know, so to answer your question, yes, we do have a mechanism and systems in place for men to be able to get that kind of education. But for us, it's about the healing as well, right? We want them to learn about it, be aware of all of these things, but then be able to step into this healing kind of space so that we can kind of take them back and they can go back to their families with this really good energy.
And why is it so hard for men to ask for help?
I think there's been the traditional stereotypes that men have got to be tough, and you've got to hold it together. You've got to be steely. Yeah. Look at me, steely. See, steely? Yeah. Steely, right? Yes. And so with that, there comes like this kind of Superman kind of thing that you're supposed to have, and men are fragile just like anybody else. We have feelings and thoughts, and it's just, you know, I think it's just it's a problem of society that has men in a box.
Yeah,
you know?
sure. Yeah.
And we gotta break out of that box.
Yes.
You know? With that steely look again.
That steely look. I love it.
Steely.
I think Carolyn had a great question for you.
I want to just, before I ask my question, I want to say something. So my dad passed about 2.5 years ago, and I would say, like, he was so important in my life, my whole life, and I feel like my education and what I achieved in my education, he was like just such a big part of. So I thank you so much for what you're doing, because I can't even imagine how it would be if I didn't have him. And I miss him so much. But I'm thinking also, it's amazing. Your organization is 170 years old, I think you said.
Yes.
And, being a dad and the needs of a dad would have changed so much in 170 years. So, like, how has it been that your organization has been able to grow and change and last this long?
Yeah, so I think, along with the expectations of men always having to provide resources, so us being able to pivot and be able to offer like those cutting edge certifications, right? So we can get you that really good job that you want with the certifications, and all of our certifications that we offer are online, self-directed, and they're nationally recognized. So a lot of the certifications that we can get, they're not only recognized in the state of New Jersey, but you can take it anywhere in the state, anywhere in the United States, and still be able to command that level of money, right? The one thing that I've known is that when the guys do complete these certifications, they end up making like $5.40 above minimum wage, right? Mm-hmm. So once the men start to hear that, so again, that makes it really exciting for them to come in. And so once they hear about, hey, they have really good jobs over there, it kind of opens up the floodgates to be able to have conversations about other things.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Are there costs for these programs?
No, it's absolutely free. Don't you do that. It's free. It's free. Oh my God, we're a nonprofit organization.
Oh yeah.
Hello, funders. We're free.
They're free. They're free. That was like a trick question.
Yeah.
We know they're free nonprofit. So I'm so excited. So we are called to light and love, and it's great that the Father Center have this space for our young men. But I want to get into something else. All right. The Father Center just celebrated their 18th, right? 18th annual Platinum Dad event.
Oh, yes. Yes. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yes. So tell us about Platinum Dad.
So we honor Platinum Dads. So we honor between 5, sometimes 10 men who were nominated by their significant others and just by people in the community to come, and we celebrate them and we call them Platinum Dads. Mm-hmm. This year we had we did some partnership with Team 85, which was fantastic, because not only did we have a small Platinum Dads event, but then we had a family fun day where we brought the children in and the families, which was fantastic. That, when I think about the Father Center of New Jersey, because part of my mission as the Vice President of Programs is to make sure that I put the Father in Father Center of New Jersey. So making sure that when I come into the office, there's fathers and children around, and we're becoming a supervised visitation site through DCPMP. So fathers can bring, and whenever they have supervised visitation, and they can come, they can do it at the Father Center. Do story time at the Father Center. So one of the ideas is just always making sure that we open up the doors, and then it's open, and it's real, and people feel welcome to be there.
So is it so these fathers, do they have to be a part of the Father Center, adjoined to it, or just anybody could nominate anyone to be a Platinum Dad?
Right. So anyone could nominate anyone to be a Platinum Dad. That is the beauty of it, because we've had gentlemen who don't have biological children, but were nominated by the people around them because they were such a strong and powerful influence in other people's lives, right? And so a Platinum Dad can be a biological father. It can be someone who's just a father figure. And one of the things I wanted to kind of share, we also have the Robert P. Alston Award, which is we celebrate an older gentleman, someone with that, intergenerational transmission of wisdom, someone who is a more seasoned father. But we didn't have one this year because no one got nominated. But every year we like to try to nominate some, like a senior father in the community, to get that special Robert P. Alston Award.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Did you have, go ahead.
I think this is going to be a tough question, given I think you do incredible work, but would you say there would be one moment that you can look back and go, I'm the most proud of that? or biggest transformation? I mean, I think that's hard in the sea of amazingness that you do. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. So personally or professionally?
Both.
Okay.
Hit it.
Yeah. So personally, just the realization that I'm a good father, and I don't need any of you to tell me that, right? You ask my children, right? And that's my telltale sign that I'm in communication and have a positive rapport with all of my children. That's so it's almost not like one kind of lucid moment, but it's like an overall realization that all 4 of my children love me, right? In spite of
Yes.
everything else, they do love me, and I have great and wonderful relationships with them. What's the second part?
Professionally.
Oh, so professionally, just being able to touch and see the men on a daily basis, on a very basic level, that's where, I mean, I love it every day. I look forward to coming to work, right? Because I know the work that we do is going to be impactful. I know that the work that we do is going to be transformational for some of the men. Some of the men, when you start to look at the backgrounds and their history, and I think, oh, my mom loved me, she took care of me. Then some of these men, they grew up and they had none of that. None of it. Yeah. But they still are wanting to be good fathers and wanting to take care of their children and wrap that warm blanket around their children. So me coming to work every day is a personal, best for me. And the fact that I'm connected and engaged with all of my children is something that's really, really, it warms my heart.
Beautiful.
I have a question for Carter. So you talked a little bit about the job training and the employment, and so we opened up this whole conversation just saying, men are more than earners.
Yes.
What are some of the issues, I don't want to say problems, but what do men need today outside of job training? What are some of the needs that men look
Wow. So some of the hardcore needs are established transportation systems, especially when gentlemen do not have access to their own car. And I'm a cyclist, so I'm like, yeah, you can ride a bike, but no, that's not realistic for a lot of people. So just transportation, so so when we start to think about the largest employer in this Tri-County area, Mercer County, Middlesex, and Burlington, there's over 300 warehouses in the area. So the most lucrative jobs are in the logistics and transportation and distribution industry. So we offer them forklift certifications. And so that forklift certifications offers the men, at some point when the guys come through the door and they're looking to really a nice paying job with the certification, they can make 20-something bucks an hour with those kind of certifications. So that's the kind of things that I know that they need. They need, even with the provision, because that's never going to go away, high-paying jobs and access to those high-paying jobs with a very almost like an abbreviated pathway to get there.
Awesome.
It's a great incentive.
Yes.
Yep.
So let the people know, how can they support the Father Center? Because I know you're nonprofit, so how can they support?
Okay. So you can support the Father Center by being a father to your children and leaning into your own personal relationships. Because when you do that, you create better people, right? Because what I always say to the fathers is that your children are 100% of the future, right? So what you say to them is going to matter in the next 10 to 15 to 20 years. So that's on a larger level. On a practical level, you can call the Father Center of New Jersey. You can access us through our website and then ask for volunteer opportunities. I don't have anything off the top of my head right now, but every month throughout this course of the year, we have themed events and that we're always looking for volunteers. So that's the best way, volunteering your time and energy and your presence at the Father Center, and then looking at your own family and looking into your own home and starting to lean into those relationships and nurture those. That's how you can help the Father Center.
That's good right there.
That
That's
got me
real
right there.
good. That's real good. So is there anything else you want to tell us about the Father Center, or have we hit it all?
Well, I think that we definitely hit it all. I want to say this, that we're constantly growing. I always want the Father Center to be a place that's attractive to all men, not just the dude that needs a hand up, not just the dude that needs a help with the job and a resume, but the gentleman who graduated from college, has a nice home in Somerset County, but doesn't know how to connect with his kids, does not know how to speak with his children about sex. They don't know how to fill out a financial aid application, right? So being able to attract those men, I'm thinking that we need to do more stuff like this.
Yes,
Yeah.
this was
Yes.
great.
Yes.
And I want to read this poem. It says, "The power of a dad in a child's life is unmatched." Remember, fathers, I know we talk, this is a woman's show, but remember, fathers, Father's Day is coming up. You are needed. You are worthy. You are awesome. If you are there, you are present, and you need to stay present. And we honor you on this Father's Day. We honor you, Carter, for
Thank you.
coming
Thank
out.
you.
And we know you're a great dad. We know it. We know. We can see it. We can smell it. You know. And we're so excited that you took the time to come and be a part of the Xchange. And I am Dr. Joan Coleman. We're here to uplift, to motivate, to encourage, to inspire you to be your most authentic self. And I'm with,
Donna Hutchinson.
Carolyn Poiker.
Denise Cavalier.
and our special guest today.
Carter Patterson.
And we're so glad you watched. Listen, write in the comment box if you have any comments below. If you're on our Facebook page watching the Xchange, we want you to comment, we want you to like, we want you to share, we want you to go on YouTube, we want you to share that link. We're on LinkedIn. We're going to put this on LinkedIn. Share it. Whenever you see it, share it, all right? Because this is awesome, awesome information about the Father Center. And most importantly, thank you for watching.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. Okay. And we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Bye.